So the big question floating out there at this time is, could Trump actually win the 2024 election? Well, the answer to that is pretty complicated. The really hard part for people to understand who want to know this answer is understanding how truly fragmented information is right now. I have people who are telling me adamantly, well, there's just no way he can win because of various items they throw out there. And then, of course, others say, well, of course he can win. The problem is our understanding of information in this country is dramatically altered uh, over the last 20 years. Objective truth is something that exists. However, if no one believes it, objective truth is moot. Objective truth only has a God's eye view. Our solar system has always been heliocentric. For a long time, that truth was irrelevant because few to none believed it to be true. We live in a society that is semi-democratic. Portions of the government are democratic, portions are representatively democratic, portions, perhaps the largest portion of the government, is a manifestation of the amalgamated will of our core establishment. The shaping of information and the implementation of policy are contingent on all these factors. Consider that various narratives are all out there all at the same time. Some believed entirely by one group, some believed entirely by others, and other narratives crossing back and forth over the center. On one side is kindly Uncle Joe, the family man. And then on the other side is a hair sniffing, stumbling, verbally incoherent octogenarian. Both narratives are shaped. One side omits, the other side accentuates. Which one's closer to reality? And the answer to that is not as easy as you would think. Uh, they both may be wrong. There may be truth much closer to the center of that. I don't know the full answer to that. I know which way I lean, but because I believe a certain way doesn't make it true. There is no one single shaped narrative anymore. Any interpretation of Trump's chances, good or bad, is contaminated by bad information. A key thing to understand that 2016, 2020, and 2024, in terms of comparison, might as well be different centuries. Uh, Things have changed dramatically for each election season. Comparing one to another is very much apples to pineapples. In 2016, we had a floundering economy that, although better than 2008, wasn't fully recovered. This created headwinds against the incumbent party. The incumbents ran a very unlikable person as their candidate. This suppressed their base. Trump tapped into a populist uprising that most establishment people were ignoring. The Democrats did not take Trump seriously and made huge campaign mistakes. In 2020, we had whipsawed from a booming economy to a near dead economy. This creates headwinds against the incumbent. Trump had built up negatives in terms of personability. Biden had a history of being a relatively pleasant yet quirky person. Many people were dealing with the make it stop mentality, where the media was just nonstop barrage on Trump, to where I think a lot of people are saying, if we don't turn up and vote for this guy, will this stop? Please make it stop. The coup created an atmosphere where the Democrats were able to set up rules and systems that were favorable to them keeping uh, key swing counties around the county. The Republicans against Trump allowed this to happen, and the Republicans for Trump were too naive to spot it happening. So, what's the difference in 2024? By the way, This is the image you get when you search for clown world. Well, the economy's not so good. The Fed is desperately fighting to keep money growth from the COOF stimulus from swamping the economy. They likely won't or can't dare allow a full recovery to occur before the election. Now, this is stuff that could change. It's a ways out yet. However, if this trend remains the same, the incumbent will be facing headwinds. There are new factors in play. K through 12 education is an abomination, and that abomination was exposed to many parents because of Zoom learning that occurred during the COOF. This issue is a negative for Democrats. It cuts across party lines. People in the center who might have considered going Democrat may not now. The trans issue is also blown up. Odds are good that the people on the pro side of the trans issue never were going to vote GOP, and those in favor of protecting children likely draw from the center as well. The Ukraine war isn't likely to go away, and the establishment will be unable to resist pushing us deeper into it, while at the same time support for the war is deteriorating. This is going to be a negative on the Democrats. The silent generation and the boomer generations tend to get most, if not all, their news via legacy media. They vote in very high numbers. There are less of them now than there were last election. Generation X and the millennials are aging and will tend towards a less progressive mindset. And they will vote in greater numbers than they did last time. The COOF voting measures that gave Democrats an edge last time are now well known. Republicans will be able to mitigate these measures better than they did last election. The Trump mugshot and the likely repulsive the Trump mugshot has a likelihood of repulsing the same people who would have never voted for him in the first place, but very well boost his everyman status with the working class. Third-party movements such as Green, No Labels seem to be surging. These will tend to draw votes from the Democrats. The electorate is over the please just stop feeling that we were going through during the Trump administration. The border issue is probably not doing the Democrats much good either. And now, after 4 years of Uncle Joe, he's no longer the clean slate he started out to be. Now, on the bad side, Trump is Trump. It's unknown if his ability to repulse will cross the American center. The strategy of bleeding Trump of time and money via lawfare is currently effective. The GOP will not be able to undo all the COOF election system alterations and will not be able to game them as well as the Democrats did. The GOP is infiltrated by Republican progressives that are willing to burn the party to the ground rather than Trump win again. In short, I would say everything is very much up for grabs. Now, the factors I mentioned are not fully quantifiable, but they're certainly going to be impactful. The differences between this election and the last are fairly easy to see. The idea that since he lost last time that he's bound to lose this time is not the only driving factor. There's a lot happening. Now, Tim Pool suggested that from an electoral college standpoint, Trump lost the election by about 40 to 50,000 votes in the key counties. I'm not sure the veracity of that, but I've not seen anyone push back against it. If that's true, if a combination of these factors shift enough of those voters, it is a plausible outcome that Trump could win electorally by the Electoral College, as he did in 2016. Now, Another thing to take into consideration is the unusual nature of the indictments against Trump and the not so coincidental timing of those indictments would seem to indicate that the Democrats are taking the idea of Trump winning very seriously. So comment below, what do you think? Do you think some of these factors are going to weigh in Trump's favor? Do you think he has no chance whatsoever? Do you think Biden will make it to the election? Will Trump make it to the election? Please smash the like button. If the YouTube algorithm has brought you here and you're not a regular subscriber, please look at my titles. I have a lot of different subjects I go over. I'm sure something will be of interest to you. Take a look, subscribe. And if you think somebody might find this interesting, please share it with them. Thank you for spending time with me this evening. Hope to see you again in a future video.